What's up everyone, Clark Glassford, founder of My Practice Interview. We help you land your dream job, and today we're talking about interview feedback and whether you should ask for interview feedback if you have not been successful at the interview. Shorter answer is heck yes, you should be asking for feedback. I'm going to tell you why and how you ask for that feedback, but before we get there, you're clearly here for a reason. You're looking for interview advice, you're looking for career advice, you're trying to figure out how to get to that next point in your career path. You've come to the right place. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. We post videos every week to give you guidance on to how to sail through the interview and recruitment process, so subscribe now. All right, with that said, we're gonna talk about feedback. Here we go. So the question is, should you ask for interview feedback? And the resounding answer I'm going to give you is absolutely. You do not want to miss that opportunity. If you've been through a recruitment process, you put all your blood, sweat, and tears into getting to that interview, doing the interview, think you've done well, only to get that phone call that says, sorry, we're going with someone else, or that email that says we're going with somebody else, and it stings, but it's not over at that point. You still should be asking for feedback. And the reasons why are this. If you don't ask for feedback, how are you going to grow? Personal development is a key part of getting the interview feedback. So what you need to learn about yourself, what you need to improve on, is it your interview skills? Is it some piece of your experience that you don't have, that you're missing out on these types of opportunities for? Is it education? Do you need more training to get the role that you've applied for? These are important pieces that you need to know, and if you're not asking for feedback, you're not going to get the job that you're applying for. So that's reason number one. Number two, you've got to get those insights from the recruiter. The recruiter has all sorts of amazing insights as to the way you interviewed, whether it's on the personal development side or it's on the actual way you interviewed. Maybe you rambled. Maybe you didn't say enough. Maybe you were all over the place in your interview and you didn't know how to answer behavioral questions or apply the STAR technique to your answers. There are little tips and information that the recruiter will give you, little nuggets that you can use to apply for your future interview. That is gold. Your competition out there, I'm telling you right now, will not ask for feedback and will not get that type of advice. You can take that, you can build off it so that you come across even stronger for your next interviews. So it's really important from the recruiter perspective. Plus, number three here, understand your competition. You may gain some insights from that recruiter when you ask for feedback as to how you lost out on the role. Maybe because your competition was just that much better. Maybe it was just simply they interviewed better. Good for you to know that, so you can keep working on those interview skills to get better and better and come across stronger and stronger for your next interview. But maybe it's other things. Maybe it's, again, that experience that they just had more experience than you. Good to know. Maybe there's a few things you need to go out and work on to get that experience to be more competitive next time. So those are some of the insights you're going to get from the recruiter in understanding your competition. It creates opportunities for you as well. So that's the next tip here. You going to your recruiter or hiring manager and saying, could I get interview feedback? And if they're willing to give you that feedback, it creates further opportunities because it shows you're still interested in the company, you're interested in the position, and it shows your professionalism. Really important pieces here because, as you know, it's all about networking. A lot of jobs are filled through word of mouth. 80% of jobs out there filled through word of mouth and who you know. So by reaching back out to that recruiter, shows you're professional, shows you have respect and courtesy, you're willing to learn, and guess what? If an opportunity presents itself later on with that same company, they may be picking up the phone to call you. Really, really important that you make that connection after the interview with the recruiter. Last piece here is networking. Just talked about networking. Networking is so important for you to find out about other opportunities. Maybe there's no other opportunities with this company, but maybe the recruiter knows as to where you could look. Maybe they'll keep you in mind if one of their competitors or people within their network are looking for a similar type role and they've just interviewed you. They've had a good impression from you based on you coming back to get this interview feedback, and they recommend you for someone else. It's all about networking, and those are key things in why you need to ask for interview feedback. Now, with all that said, I am realistic. A lot of companies will not give feedback. They don't want to deliver the bad news to the employees. They don't want to have the hard conversation with an applicant saying, you just didn't do well in the interview, your interview kind of sucked. They don't want to deliver that kind of bad news. So I am a realist as well. You may not get the feedback that you're asking for, but what's the worst you're going to get? No, that's it. Sorry, we don't give feedback. Or you write a nice email and say, look, I'm requesting interview feedback. Could I have some of your time? And they don't respond. Big deal. It's important that you ask. You put yourself out there to ask. You put yourself out there to absorb that feedback so you can learn from it. And you will find that some employers will give it as long as you can demonstrate you're open to receive it. So here's how you do it. Start off, whether it's a phone call or an email, your choice, with a thank you. Thank you for the time, thank you for the opportunity. Still really excited about the role. It's unfortunate I wasn't successful, but I'd like to learn about what I could do to improve myself for next time, whether it's a role with your company or someone else. Thank them, be polite, and check your attitude. So important. So many times I see applicants that just feel burned. They've been through a long process, I get it. They put themselves out there, I get it. And then they get that rejection at the end of the day and they're not happy and they do not want anything to do with the company or the recruiter, and any type of feedback they're just not going to ask for. So make sure you check your attitude, let yourself kind of come down a little bit. Be open to asking for feedback because it makes you better. It makes you stronger. You will do so much better in future interviews if you get that feedback to build on. So be open to it, check your attitude, don't be like, Or if you get feedback and don't do this, like, no way, that's not me. I don't know what you're talking about. That is not the approach you want to take. Be professional, be polite, be respectful. It works wonders, okay? Next thing, explain your motivation and why you're requesting the advice. So some people may not be familiar. Some recruiters may not be familiar with giving feedback, or hiring managers may not be familiar with giving feedback. So explain your motivation. I want to better myself. I'm just seeking some advice on ways I can improve either in my interview or what I brought to the table. So now you're opening up. So now their guard is kind of lowered a little bit. Like, okay, Clark here, he wants some feedback. He's not going to be someone who's going to turn this around on me and make it my problem. He's going to be open to the feedback I give him. That allows for that in. That allows you to have the conversation and say, I'm open to the conversation. I want to accept the feedback and be open to it. So that is important that you explain that. Show your appreciation at the end of the day. You want to thank them for their time, thank them for their energy and effort in allowing you to meet with them. And then at the end of it, once you've walked away and you've thanked them, you've got the feedback, this is key. Apply the suggestions, the advice, the recommendations. So many people get that feedback and they do that. Yeah, that wasn't me. This person read me all wrong. Forget it. Remember, at the end of the day, whatever their perception is, that manager or recruiter, whatever that perception is of you, is their reality. Whether you think that about yourself or not, it's their reality. So once you've heard that, I talked too much. I rambled. I didn't say enough, didn't give enough detail. I'm missing this piece of experience. That is their reality. So it's up to you to take that advice, learn from it, and make key changes in how you approach the recruitment process and the interview based on that advice, so that you don't have that same perception with the next recruiter or next hiring manager. So my advice every single time, ask for feedback. You may not get it, but if you do, it is golden information for you to accelerate the way you interview so that you get hired for the next role you apply for. And remember, if you change nothing, nothing will change. So at the end of the day, if you get that advice and you decide, I'm not doing anything with it, they were wrong, then nothing is going to change for your next interviews. Really important, again, take the advice, absorb it, make some adjustments, and rock your next interview. So with that said, hope you enjoyed the video today. As always, in the links below, copy of my ebook. It is free. It gives you the step-by-step approach to applying for jobs, all the things you need to know about the job application process, how to prepare for job interviews. And at the end of the book, there are some sample interview templates which you can use to practice for your next interview. Great way to start your preparation. It's free, get it. Really, it's a no-brainer. You need to get this. Also in the links below is the Interview Accelerator workshop. It's a digital workshop presented by me. You can take it on your own time. It walks you through with me presenting how you prepare for the interview, starting at the front end with your cover letter and resume. We talk about all the different types of interview questions, how to respond to those questions, and then how to navigate through all the pitfalls, all the little mistakes that applicants make so you don't make those mistakes. You rock your interview, you get hired, and at the end of the day, you hear, you're hired, and you're set, you're golden. So 2 resources there, you should get both. I highly recommend them. Make sure you like, subscribe, and as I always say, happy interviewing. Till next time.